In this video, I will review the Glashütte Original Senator Excellence Panorama Date Moon Phase. It's a bit of a mouthful, but it's a fabulous watch. I love a glass of Chianti, especially with a chunk of Grana Padano. Likewise, I'm not averse to drinking Rioja. And, well, like many people, I do like a bit of Bollinger. These products confer much delight. However, the viticulture, the soil, climate, technique, differs. The reason for mentioning this is that the same can be said of fine watches. There are examples of German, Japanese and Swiss watches that I admire. Yet they all have characteristics that are specific to where they are made. Glashütte is the epicentre of German watchmaking, with a history dating back to 1845. The small town, located in Saxony, is home to several watch brands, including Glashütte Original. I've talked before about the manufacturer and confessed to having a weakness for its timepieces. Back in 2016, the brand launched the Senator Excellence line. Each variant contained the company's in-house Calibre 36. Recently, Glashütte Original released two new versions of the perpetual calendar, one in red gold and a second in steel. They also released a new Panorama Date Moon Phase, again in a choice of red gold or steel. Recently, I've been wearing this latter reference, the Panorama Date Moon Phase in steel, and I wish to point out some of the details on this watch and explain why I think it's fantastic. The dial is presented in galvanic silver and features applied Roman numerals executed in solid gold with a blue coating. The surface of the dial is embossed and appears slightly textured, and it shimmers in certain light conditions. Blue Poire-style hands indicate the hours and minutes, and the watch features a fine centre seconds hand with the brand's double G logo at one end. A Shamanda fur encircles the display, making the read-off of minutes and seconds eminently simple. Panorama Date, Luxury Mark's own take on the large date complication, resides at 4 o'clock. It employs two discs, one for tens and the second for units, and displays the prevailing date in a large widescreen format, which is very legible. Like most other watches equipped with a large date display, the Panorama Date has no framework delineating one disc from the other. It's only with a very keen eye that you're able to see a fine curved line between the two discs. Positioned between 10 and 11 o'clock is a crescent-shaped aperture that reveals the moon disk. It's formed of German silver and galvanized in blue. It's adorned with two moons and numerous stars, and provides a very poetic means of imparting information. Measuring 40mm in diameter with a height of 12.2mm, the dimensions of this watch should suit a broad array of wearers. Case combines satin finished and polished surfaces. There's nothing excessive or showy about this watch. It's a paragon of elegance and good taste. When the sample arrived, I was surprised to see that it was presented on a blue fabric strap. I always thought of the Senator family as a collection of formal watches. However, by pairing this strap with the silver-toned dial, Glashütte Original has made this watch appear younger and slightly more casual. Personally, I think this strap works very well and I love it. But if you're more of a traditionalist, then don't fret, the watch is also available on a blue alligator strap or a steel bracelet. The rear watch, a pane of sapphire crystal, grants sight of the Calibre 3624, and it's a beautiful movement. This comes as no surprise, as Glashütte Original have got a fabulous reputation for making movements, and this specification on this model is fantastic. The movement's a bit like a sandwich, comprising a base layer, which we call the main plate, the upper layer, generally formed of bridges, and the filling, consisting of the gear train and escapement, and we want to keep that as relatively rigid as possible. Swiss watches often use a series of bridges. However, this movement employs what we call a three-quarter plate instead. This is a feature found on several watches made within this region. The benefit of using a three-quarter plate is that it's a more stable form of construction. The rotor is partially open-worked and features a 21-karat gold weight on its outer edge. Both the rotor and the three-quarter plate are adorned with a stripe finish, sometimes termed Glashütte ribbing. It's similar in concept to Cote de Genève that you might find on Swiss watches. The movement is endowed with a silicon hairspring. There are only a few companies that have the access to this know-how. Silicon is a glass-like material that's not influenced by changes in temperature or magnetism. Most notably, by using silicon, Glashütte Original has been able to achieve a superior level of precision. The watch does not have a racket or an index to adjust the rate. Instead, it's fitted with the variable-inertia balance, sometimes called a free-sprung balance. And basically this delivers superior precision. If the watch is subjected to a shock, it's also less likely to need remedial regulation. I'll talk about this more in my written review on escapementmagazine.com. You'll find a link in the comments section. The balance cock is hand engraved. There are beveled edges, polished and thermally blued screws, perlage on the main plate. I could go on. Just take a look at the swan neck. Note the mirror polishing. It is gorgeous. For those people interested in the swan neck on this watch, it's not used for regulation. It's actually used to fine-tune the anchor symmetry. It's a useful feature should the watchmaker identify a beat error. Again, I'll talk more about this in my written review on escapementmagazine.com. So in closing, what do I think of this watch? Well, I still love Japanese watches and Swiss watches, as well as some German watches from rival marques. But I can safely say I really like this watch. I don't think I'd ever tire of its bouquet, its subtle character, its delightful nuances. It is gorgeous and delicious. Currently this watch sells for £10,700 in the UK. It's not an inconsequential sum, but considering the refinement of the dial, the case and the movement, it's a bargain. Throughout this video I referred to this German marque as Glashütte Original. My daughter, who lives in Saxony, would be appalled at my pronunciation of the company's name. I think it should be pronounced Glashütte Original. Please don't laugh, Isabel, but I'm not absolutely certain. Nevertheless, one thing is certain, Glashütte Original have produced a brilliant watch. Would I recommend it? You betcha. Until next time, watch geeks, keep collecting.